in the emails, we're going to give a prize for some of the best posters. And we thought, Ingrid had been to a similar kind of event before, and the students also chose a best poster. And we thought that would be quite a fun thing to do. So it's anonymous, you don't give your name, and preferably don't vote for your own poster. But if, say, by Thursday lunchtime, you could just give me the name of the poster that you can write them all up with your sheet, and you can pass it around, and you can just put your name on the poster. I'll hand you each a little thing. If you're keen to do that, and then we'll award a poster selection from selected from the students. There's also an evaluation form that I'd be keen for you to fill in. You know, we hold the summer school every 2 years, and we like to try and improve the experience. So I'm going to print them out today so that you've got it, so that you don't kind of forget the lectures that you've heard. And if you just fill it in as you go, and I'll collect them from you on Saturday. Super. Just give these guys a couple more minutes to do it every day. Anything else? Any other issues? Anybody's got any problems? Please just let us know. Okay.
Oh, how's it going?
Right. Hello.
I'm amazed that everyone's here and it's really nice to see. Elaine's, can you guys hear me, or do you want me to put the microphone? Yeah. Oh, yes, I haven't got anywhere to click on. I click with my hand. Yeah, thank you. Elaine's asked me to facilitate today because Elaine's giving a lecture. So I'll be getting back into the room and everything. This morning, first of all, I'd like to introduce Laurent from France. He's joined us as one of the lecturers. Do you want to just say a few words?
So it's my first clinical school. You listen to me, I guess, this afternoon. I'm from Paris, working in an institute called IPSL. I'm a modeler interested in marine biogeochemical cycles, linking climate change and biogeochemistry in marine ecosystems. I will explain some more this afternoon.
So you're giving one of the lectures today, so I look forward to that. Also, I believe Marcus has gone home.
Yes.
Is that correct? Yes. So he's not here. He always had to go back to the US. Copenhagen. Yes. And that was not here this morning yet, but coming in a little while. So we haven't got a recipe for this morning for this first half an hour. But basically, what we wanted to do was to first of all find out from you guys if there was any questions about any of the material that was presented yesterday. Also, we wanted to find out how you're going with your topics for your projects and whether you had any questions about that. So, is that irritating? Sorry, I'll just stand over here. So, is there any burning questions or issues that you have at the moment about any of the material that we did yesterday? Or would you like me to just summarise what we did first and then... Yeah? Okay, so the first lecture that Beck did, basically looking at the integrated Earth system models and giving you an overview. Beck, do you want to specifically say anything else about any sort of summary of the lecture that might raise any issues that stop me.
Okay, so yesterday we heard a little bit about integrated assessment models. But something that you'll learn about me is I'm a very big person into A, chaos, and B, adaptation. So given that you all seem to have got control of yesterday fairly well, what I'll probably do is just start talks a little bit earlier. Before I do that, in typical Raghu and Beth style, we miscommunicated over what we were doing this afternoon. So So I'm mainly trying to put something together right now. So can I just have a show of hands of those of you who use plankton models on a day-to-day basis? So I'm not going to bore the whole room to death if I actually do some plankton modelling this afternoon. No? Okay, so I'll try and make something fun to do with plankton for this afternoon. But apart from that, we can probably, unless there is some burning questions about any of yesterday's lectures at all, then we can probably just get it going this morning, given that, I don't know about you, but jet lag probably means you don't want to be working really late this evening on projects. We could probably get that started a bit earlier today as well.
So the other question I had, if we just raise hands, how many people in the groups are actually are intending to build a full-on model for that topic, or how far beyond the conceptual model are you going to go? Are you going to use really complicated models? So who's intending to use like a bending model, for instance, or have they got some model that they can grab that they've already got, they can use? You guys have got a model that you've already got that you can sort of adapt?
For others, I think yes, we can. I think we make sure we have things fairly simple enough so that we can do that.
So in that, the group in the corner over there, you guys were going to build a model as well. Yeah. So all of you are intending to actually come up with something tangible at the end. So how many of you are going to use agent-based approach? Oops. So there's just three groups. Is anybody intending to use any qualitative modelling? You haven't had a lecture about qualitative modelling yet, because it'll be on Thursday. Is anyone, are people familiar with qualitative modelling at all? No. Just you guys. So that's there. Wait until Thursday for that. So anyone with respect to the topics, have you got any questions to any of the lecturers about the topics? Or that might be a benefit to the other groups as well? No? No question with the change. Okay. As I said, we didn't really have a plan for this morning, so it was just a matter of sort of playing it by ear. But Elaine, what do you... Yeah, so we just start. Yeah. So for tomorrow, we have a half an hour of questioning. Yeah, we'll try and get something a bit more structured for the first half an hour, or even if you can work in your groups in the first half an hour, that'd be good too. But if people are happy that we'll start with the lectures this morning a little bit early and progress through the day a bit earlier. Yeah?
Live with this?
Or can we do it?
Yeah. Okay. So well, we figured this out. Since the concept was to look at natural human interactions in the marine world, I thought I'll spend some time looking at what being human means, especially in the evolutionary context and the evolution of Earth itself and its climate. And I'll just touch on sustainability. Essentially, this is more about how is it that human mind perceives risks, and what does it mean if we want to do cognitive modeling of the human mind. So I will say some things that may be religiously offensive, but let's hope nobody brought any bombs. Actually, Beth gave a nice opening for introducing Mind Talk yesterday. She said ozone hole gives us a positive or a hopeful message for how we could deal with climate change. But can somebody quickly say what is the difference between, what could be a difference between the ozone hole problem and the global warming problem? Yeah.
Maybe the feedback started the process.
Okay, but just thinking in terms of humans, ozone hole, there were probably going to be no winners. Everybody was going to lose, right? So it was easier to get together and make an agreement to say we need to close this hole. Whereas in global warming, it's hardly clear that everybody will lose. In fact, for a while, unless there's a catastrophic failure, it's possible that there will be winners and there will be losers. And this is already been happening if you look at some of the numbers, which I will show. So I will start by using I will start by using this example of how human mind tries to deal with problems. So this is rainfall from a village in India where I worked for summer of 2011, where I had taken 15 students from the US to teach them sustainability, and it was a bad drought. This year is even worse. And it gets about 400 millimeters of rain per year, which is like New Mexico, for example, so it's basically a desert. But it used to be distributed very nicely from about end of May, beginning of June through September. And in the last 10 to 20 years, it has become very patchy like this. This is daily rainfall. So there was just a little bit of rainfall in June. July got some rain, end of July, and then there was a huge cyclone in October that brought rain. The village has been around since about the 4th century, so they have dealt with this amount of rain that basically sustained agriculture this long. But this makes it very difficult. If it doesn't rain in June, they lose their basic protein called the green gram or moong dal. And this year it didn't even rain in July, so they lost the second crop, which is onions and peppers and so on. And if it still rains in July, they can get some wheat and cotton, maybe corn, later in October and November. So the idea that we are trying to introduce there is something called agroforestry, which is a sustainable agricultural method. I won't go into it. And some farmers have adopted it and they have become drought resistant. And the farmers sitting right next to them see that this method works, but they still would not adopt it. They don't jump on it. So what is it that makes human mind resist change, even when it is obvious that they need to change and that it would be good for them, right? So people tend to have what are called mental models. And so essentially, this you can look in the notes that you will get, says how people think of themselves and of others. So an undergraduate sees himself as Einstein, sees a PhD student as somebody who's being force-fed, sees a postdoc as rich, making a lot of money, sees the professor as Jesus, and the technician as basically a mother, and so on. So people have mental models of pretty much everything. So when you propose something to them, it is this mental model that often becomes a problem to accept change or to even accept new information. So the main message is really that even if you have solid science about global warming or whatever it is, about how to be sustainable agriculture, be drought-proof and so on, it's not so easy to get people to act on it. And this works also for biodiversity. For example, people are struggling to explain to people that biodiversity is getting seriously affected by human activities, and one of the approaches has been to say there is ecosystem services from biodiversity, and that's why we should preserve it. And Beth showed, I think it's Bob Costanza's calculation that the ecosystem services from just the ocean itself is 39 trillion or whatever. And social science will tell you that actually human beings have what are called intrinsic values and extrinsic values. So intrinsic values are what make you stand up for a cause, care about families, stand up for the environment, and everybody has intrinsic values. Extrinsic values are what are basically related to making money, image, status, power, and so on. So everybody has these intrinsic values and they can be reached, but you have to know how the human mind perceives messages. And the human mind, basically, Jonathan Haidt proposed that as a kind of a split personality where it's got an emotional elephant and a rational